In an interview with Fox Business last night, Donald Trump talked about our future potential actions in Syria, whether we're gonna get involved. And depending on which sentence you pay attention to, we are not going to be going in, or we very much might be going in. Let's try to decipher it after watching this clip.
Understand, we're not going into Syria because, you know, there were some questions. Nikki Haley's doing a great job. Rex is doing a fantastic job, our Secretary of State. General McMaster, fantastic. But if you add it all up, and if they take every little word, they'll say, oh, they're different. Just so you understand, we're not going into Syria. But when I see people using horrible, horrible chemical weapons, which they agreed not to use under the Obama administration, but they violated it.
They said they got rid of them.
Hey, look, what I did should have been done by the Obama administration a long time before I did it. When I looked at the pictures on any show or any newspaper, but especially when you see them on television, and you see these beautiful kids that are dead in their father's arms, or you see kids gasping for life, and you know it's over. It's over for them. They're hosing them down, hundreds of them. When you see that, I immediately called General Mattis. I said, what can we do? And they came back with a number of different alternatives, and we hit them very hard. Now, are we going to get involved with Syria? No. But if I see them using gas and using things that, I mean, even some of the worst tyrants in the world didn't use the kind of gases that they used. And some of the gases are unbelievably potent. So when I saw that, I said, we have to do something.
Donald Trump, I'm just gonna say because I had to listen to him. When he's speaking, I had to listen to Barack Obama a lot too. And when Barack Obama speaks, you have to slow down your brain because he goes really slowly. For whatever reason, you know, he wants to think about what he's doing or what he's about to say, make sure that it comes out the correct way, make sure people don't misinterpret what he's saying.
He was very measured.
Yes, when Donald Trump speaks, there's a bunch of things they told him to say or things he feels he needs to get to. And in his throwing it all out, he gets sidetracked.
With his own mind, he sidetracks himself.
With his own talking point, his internal talking point that takes him off the original talking point, then he comes back to it again and doesn't realize how much he contradicts himself. It's like if he's following Waze maps and it says turn left at Main Street, he'll turn left at Main Street, then he'll make a right at 7th just because he felt like it. And you go, we're lost now, what the fuck?
Driven by his need to use hyperbole. Like he'll start to make a point and then he wants to say how bad chemical weapons are in a way that makes it seem like he's never thought about chemical weapons before. And so then he follows that train and forgets what he was talking about. And so look, chemical weapons, absolutely horrible, illegal, you can't use them. But if he's saying we're not gonna get involved, and only the US government gets to fire 59 cruise missiles at a country and then say we're not involved there.
That's right.
For some reason. But then you say, well, if they use these weapons or if they do something really bad, then we might get involved. If I'm worried about us going into Syria, then that set of statements doesn't make me feel better about the future.
And he doesn't know what he just finished saying. So if you ask again, what does that mean? The follow-ups that never come, I'm sorry. The follow-ups that never come is, so what does that mean? You just said two different things. He'd go, no, I didn't, fake news.
Well, he also, in the beginning of that answer, said that you'll listen to Nikki Haley and Rex Tillerson, and the media just pretends as though the two of them are saying two completely different things, but they're not. They're saying the same. No, they said two completely different things.
Yeah, we broke it down.
We broke it down on the show yesterday. Nikki Haley said that the intent was to go after regime change. Rex Tillerson said the exact opposite of that. And so look, there's no way, I don't know if they have communication with one another. I don't know if they're united on what their policy ideas are. All I know is there are conflicting messages in the media right now coming from members of his administration, from people who work closely with him. And also, I just want to make a quick point about how, yes, I do agree that chemical weapons are horrendous. But you know what else is horrendous? Attacking or targeting civilians intentionally in any way, killing them, injuring them, and essentially doing what Assad has been doing with the help of the Russians, okay? Civilians have been dying because they've been targeted by Assad and his regime in the middle of this civil war. And so why is it that all of a sudden you care because of the chemical weapons. You didn't see all these videos before. You didn't see the images in the media of all of these innocent children who have been suffering as a result of Assad. All of a sudden you care. I think it's very, very strange. And also, if you care about civilians so much and innocent people getting hurt so much, well, maybe you shouldn't have amplified the drone strikes that the Obama administration was doing. More civilians are dying under the Trump administration. Now, what Obama was doing was wrong with the drone strikes, and we criticized him for that a great deal. But Trump, again, has accelerated that. And I don't know, why doesn't he care about those civilians?
And because those pictures aren't on TV, I guess. I guess, which is for some reason, seeing the picture on TV, he said, is worse than when you see it in a newspaper. I don't really understand. And like you should care about the civilian deaths. He obviously hasn't for years. There were reports today that Russian planes dropped white phosphorus on civilian areas of Syria today. Now, technically, phosphorus is a mineral, not a chemical, but still pretty horrible when you look at what it does to the human body. Now, I do want to move on just a little bit, though, because the way that they talk about this is going to get even weirder. Because in the continuing interview with Maria Bartiromo, she wants to find out what it was actually like when he made the call. Like back when they made the call to go after bin Laden, there's all those pictures. It was a really tense situation. I guess they're trying to get that going again. But look at the emotion on the face of the two people in this interview as they're discussing this happy little story of theirs.
When you were with the president of China, you're launching these military strikes. Was that planned? How did that come about that it's happening right then? Because right there you're saying, a reminder, here's who the superpower in the world is.
You have no idea how many people want to hear the answer to this. I have watched speculation for 3 days now on what that was like.
When did you tell us?
But I'll tell you.
Before dessert?
But I will tell you. Only because you've treated me so good for so long, I have to tell you, right? I was sitting at the table. We had finished dinner. We're now having dessert. And we had the most beautiful piece of chocolate cake that you've ever seen. And President Xi was enjoying it. And I was given the message from the generals that the ships are locked and loaded. What do you do? And we made a determination to do it. So the missiles were on the way. And I said, Mr. President, let me explain something to you. This is during dessert. We've just fired 59 missiles, all of which hit, by the way, unbelievable, from hundreds of miles away, all of which hit. Amazing.
Unmanned. Brilliant.
It's so incredible. It's brilliant. It's genius.
So was this during dessert?
I think it was during dessert. We should eat there. I hear it's a beautiful cake. He has to do the Trump thing, the all of which hit from really far away. Yeah, it's impressive technology, I guess.
One of them hit.
Then she asked, are they unmanned? Yeah, the missiles are unmanned. Yeah.
I
think that when we stopped manning missiles, I think that was a big step forward for human rights. It was a cruel practice back in the day. But anyway,
it's amazing to target this big empty airfield and have all missiles hit an empty, useless space. It's amazing, our technology.
Well, it's a weird Trump thing that they have to do. But yeah, they're accurate missiles. That's good. I have no problem with that. It's the look on her face. So what was it like when you asked? It's like, someone already pointed this out, but it's like getting someone to tell you how they first asked like their now wife to the prom or something.
I wonder if that was.
Who the hell cares? This is real life we're talking about.
I know, but I wonder if that was an interview strategy by her. Because I think that if he senses some sort of warmness from the person interviewing him, he's more likely to open up. I don't know. I'm just maybe giving her the benefit of the doubt when I don't need to. But like the ad for the cake was insane. I mean, we need some tort reform here. Okay.
Oh my God, that whole thing was leading up to tort reform.
By the way, so this I think it indicates a little bit also people who would normally oppose these types of things, like with the Brian Williams things and Fareed Zakaria. When we see American power, we're born with that belief, man. When your kids are 3 years old and they're watching the 4th of July fireworks go off, eventually do you point out to them, what are these fireworks? Like, what are they signifying in your mind?
Right.
A war that we won, and these are our bombs. The bombs, it's in the national anthem. In case you forgot, when you listen to baseball games, you don't listen. But so we're born and bred with this American bombs, no matter what. So her question originally was, did you tell that president of China that president who the real superpower is in this world because we launched some missiles? That is all we care about, man.
That's a really good point. And I guess we're so conditioned by that it didn't even really register with me, and I'm usually pretty critical of those types of interactions.
Yeah, and look, we've gone over the past 2 years quite a bit that Trump has previously written about, how you sell this brand of yourself and how you build yourself up. I mean, does anyone think that it's a coincidence that they couldn't have ended the dinner and then talked to Donald Trump? No, they kept the dinner going so that he could get that message while speaking with the Chinese president, because he thinks it's going to make him look more impressive in front of the Chinese president. That's politician 101. It's definitely Donald Trump 101.
And guess what the Chinese president's state media said when he got home? Oh, a weak, strong man trying to flex his muscles. I guess that worked.
So they were able to see that. Now, we want to show you a little bit more because there's an odd slip up in the next section of the interview that I think says a lot about Donald Trump.
So what happens is, I said, we've just launched 59 missiles heading to Iraq.
Well, you headed to Syria.
Yes, heading toward Syria. And I want you to know that. Because I didn't want him to go home. We're almost finished. It was a full day in Palm Beach. We're almost finished. And what does he do? Finish his dessert and go home. And then they say, the guy you just had dinner with just attacked the country.
How does he react?
So he paused for 10 seconds. And then he asked the interpreter to please say it again. I didn't think that was a good sign. And he said to me, anybody that uses gases, you could almost say, or anything else, but anybody that was so brutal and uses gases to do that to young children and babies, it's okay.
He agreed.
He was okay with it. He was okay.
I wanna can I donate money to a cause that he's in favor of to get him to say chemical weapons rather than gases? To talk about it as if you understand what they actually are. But yeah, so she leans in. What was it like when you told him? That's creepy. We're talking about the possible beginning of a war with Syria and just the eagerness. I don't do a lot of interviews. Maybe it makes you go crazy, but that was a really way to describe it. And of course, we can't pass over the fact that he said Iraq when he meant Syria. Maybe that's an understandable mistake. I noticed that he got the cake right on the first try. And he didn't say it was a cobbler. Oh shit, sorry, it was actually chocolate. He got that, he nailed it.
It was a beautiful cake though, so how could you forget?
And he finished his dessert, the president of China.
Yeah, and the fact, I mean, you're talking about Syria, say that it's Syria. It's that it doesn't matter. And he says, what I did is what Obama should have done a long time ago. He should have done what I just did. He should have fired 59 missiles at an airfield, blown up a couple of planes, largely not accomplished anything since they can still take off from the airfield. That would have saved the conflict in Syria a couple of years ago. Does anyone believe that? The actions they take militarily, it doesn't make any difference what actually happens, what they actually accomplish. All it is sending a message. Sending a message to your base, sending a message to the media, sending a message to the politicians in your party in the Senate and the House. How are they gonna interpret this? It doesn't fucking matter what you actually accomplish or what consequences it might have. Right. It's all about just sending messages. It's all just fucking war IMs.
So sending a message is fine if that message resonates in a way that's productive, right? And so did that message convince Assad to stop being so brutal to civilians? No, as you mentioned, the white phosphorus, attacks happened recently, and he will continue attacking civilians, and he will continue being as aggressive as possible against anyone who opposes him and his regime. And so, look, my biggest issue is that there is no well thought out plan or strategy. It was a sign of aggression coming from the United States. And you need to follow that up with foreign policy. And I can't even believe I'm saying this. I almost wish that it would be foreign policy that's detailed and maybe I don't even agree with, right? But at least there's a plan. At least there's some competence, or they show that they're communicating with one another. They're doing the intelligence briefings and they have some plan in place. But right now it doesn't seem like that's the case. And you have all these different people spreading conflicting messages in the media.
Our reporter Jordan Chatton broke the Donna Brazil story. He was right, she just apologized for it. Help us get more reporters like that. You're the one responsible for that. Thank you, and let's do more right now at tytnetwork.com/go.